Hello, I just wanted to make a quick little video for Jim, or anyone else for that matter, who wants to use the ripple effect in Strata. It's more of a, I guess you would call it a ripple shader. And it's in the textures here, so I have just a little object here. If I click, can't really see that. If I click here at the little arrows here and go down to ripples, and left click that, it brings up this amazing dialog here. And in the dialog we can adjust all sorts of things. The plus sign here indicates where the ripple originates from, and you can add more than one and position them throughout, and then you just select them by a little drop down here. And if we do a quick little render here, which you can do just by clicking the little camera icon here, and you can actually adjust what you want it rendered on, but I think tile for most is the most appropriate. And if we look, we see it's just kind of like a little bump, hole, indentation, whatnot on the tile surface, which is not what we want, obviously, because we want ripples. And you can do that by just adjusting the age. Basically what you're seeing in the render here is the 0 point of the ripple. So if we then click render, you'll see the ripples coming out, and you'll still see the little nothing happening with the other one. That's because they're independent, so you have to actually select the second one, adjust its age, and do render, and you'll see them kind of interacting with each other in somewhat interesting ways. And you can do all sorts of other things to adjust them, curling, the speed, the frequency, so it can have more ripples over time. And then you just click apply or OK, and it applies it to the object. And if we click render, we do a quick little area render here, and you can see the ripples. And the one negative thing here is that if we rotate our view in 3D, you actually don't see any depth to it, and if we do a render from the side, we still do not see any depth. And there's a couple of ways of doing it to gain it so that you do have some interesting actual depth to the ripples. And one way I kind of like, and will illustrate here, is using the displacement shader, which if we go here, and of course you can't see it again, here we go, and there it is right there, displacement, boom. And I have a little preview here, and basically what I did in this example is I just took what I had here, switched to a top view, did an area render screenshot, and brought it in. So that nothing fancy, but you could set up an orthographic camera and render from above it, and render an animation, and then bring the animation in. And so you could have a lot of interesting effects with that. So if I enable the one I pre-created here, and just slide on over, you can see in the 3D view that we have some depth to it. And of course, if we render quickly, we can see that it has actual lighting effects and shadow in it, because it actually is displacing the surface. So that's pretty much it. I'm sure there's other ways you could do this as well. You could actually bring it into a normal material, and you could use, you can't see it of course, but you could use bump and normal mapping to create a somewhat similar depth type effect with the normal mapping anyway. Of course, you'd still would have, it wouldn't be as visually interesting as a displacement, but you could do other interesting things. For instance, well, maybe we can, let's see, maybe we can whip something up to make more interesting, because you can actually layer materials. So let's see, what do we got? Do we have a pattern here? Let's add this one. Yeah, we got a nice little pattern here. Aha! Yeah, okay, so we'll copy this, close this, cancel this, and with our this selected, we'll do new image, and we'll just you're not going to see this, but I'm just going to open the bump channel, paste it in, click OK, and our preview, you can see that a little bumpy, and click let's see, Option Alt, so we're just having it effect. I could just click the bump channel and Alt Option on it just to disable the other channels because not really needed right now. Click OK, and let's see. I need to remove that. So I have the image texture above the displacement. Let's just see what it looks like initially. Click render. Aha! Look at that. So and let's adjust the texture a little bit. And we'll just, never mind, we'll do it in here. And we'll just scale it down to like 0.2, 0.2. Maybe that's too small. Let's do 0.6. Click OK. Click OK. And render and see what that looks like. Yeah, so basically what we could do is we could have the displacement animated, and then you could have another more subtle texture on top of it animated. You could even actually go even farther with that. Let's add another displacement to this model here, and we'll open this up. We'll paste the other one in there, and click OK, apply. Okay. Aha! There we go. So actually let's adjust the sampling a little bit and decrease the max height. So I mean, this is a little bit of real-time playing around, but I like to illustrate things that way. It's kind of fun just to see how one can do things in a sort of real-time sort of sense, where I'm doing it as I'm illustrating it. But as you can see, I just added another displacement on top of the other displacement. So you could have multiple displacement layers where you have the one that's the base big ripple wave, and then another one that is kind of the more detailed effects that you'd actually see, because you never see a perfectly smooth wave rolling over a surface of the ocean. I mean, when have you seen that? You see extra ripples because there's wind, and the water is kind of interacting with itself. There's little pieces of shells and dirt and people moving around it, and so you're gonna see the little interesting effects of that taking place along with the ripple. So this is a little bit longer than I intended, and that's pretty much it. And I hope I helped you out, Jim, or anyone else who is interested in the ripple effect.